freedom to live.
You have to kind of work twice as hard.
Good morning. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning here in the capital city of Abuja, Nigeria. And welcome to the conversation, another exciting episode, I assure you. I am Adesowa Osuyi.
And I'm Sazé Isesele. It's good to be back this morning on the conversation.
Okay, without further ado, as always, we're going to go on a quick break. And when we do get back, it's a time to take you through developments across Africa. Do stay with us. Moving straight into development across Africa, we're going to be starting with Morocco, where the sad news of an underground factory flood. At least 24 people, died after heavy rain flooded an illegal underground textile workshop in a private house in Morocco's port of Tangiers. Rescue workers discovered or recovered 24 bodies from the property and rescued 10 survivors who were taken to a hospital. The state agency said on Monday, citing local authorities, a search of the premises was continuing. Local media outlets indicated at least some of the victims may have been electrocuted as the incoming water interfered with power facilities, but there was no immediate confirmation of those reports. Morocco has experienced heavy rains in recent weeks after a long period of drought. In early January, the inclement weather caused several dilapidated building to collapse in Casablanca, the country's economic capital, causing at least 4 deaths, according to local media. That is quite sad, I must tell you.
And moving to South Africa, South African shooting camp aims to empower black women. Now, for the first time in her life, Tando Tembu, 33, holds a revolver in her hand, 10 bullets towards the cardboard target. No hesitation. In November, she lost her cousin alone in her house for a few hours. She was raped by several men. Then she was killed. Before it happens to me, I want to be ready, says Tando. Now, in South Africa, murders are on the rise. In 2019 to 2020, about 21,325 people, making 1.4%, were killed, according to the latest annual police report. And the rate of femicides is 5 times higher than the world average. Now, women are targets in this country, says Mashenoge, another participant in the women-only weapons training course organized by the Gun Owners Association of South Africa, known as GOSA.
Femicide has actually been on the rise in South Africa, and I'm glad that they are taking initiative to start empowering women and teaching them how to not just shoot but fight. So
very impressive.
Arm yourself, yes. Okay, so we're going to move over to Kenya, still on the issue of flooding. For over a decade, the lakes of Rift Valley have been swallowing lands and villages. Villages are sinking, schools, places of worship, highways and farms. Hundreds of families and thousands of wildlife are under threat as water levels of lakes along the Rift Valley basin continuously increase. Most vulnerable of all is the El Molo ethnic group, one of the smallest in Kenya, living on islands in Lake Turkana, a lake on the northern rift side of the Rift Valley. Since Lake Turkana's water started rising, they have moved to higher grounds, mixing with other communities, explains James Imose, an El Molo community elder.
All right, we move to COVID-19 updates. Tourists visit Zanzibar as Tanzania government says no COVID-19 cases. Now, for more than 6 months, Tanzania has said it has no coronavirus case, and the government has tried to convince the world that it has been cured of COVID-19 through prayer. Now, it comes despite infections appearing to be on the rise and deaths attributed to pneumonia, but tourists are still visiting the archipelago of Zanzibar, where there are no coronavirus prevention measures such as masks and social distance in sight. An American tourist, Rachel, says, honestly, it feels nice to be without a mask. I am not fearful, so live your life and come visit Zanzibar. Now, another one, a Uganda tourist named Kate says, I have not really been afraid because, I mean, come on, we have to live our lives, we have to continue living. Corona is going to be there, but we have to continue living. Now, but the Roman Catholic Church in Zanzibar has warned its followers to protect themselves and not to follow that route.
Do you actually believe there's no coronavirus in Tanzania? Do you believe that?
I've not been to Zanzibar before, so
no, but do you believe what the government and everyone in Tanzania, okay, the authorities in Tanzania are saying that nah, we don't have COVID. There's nothing like that in our country.
It's difficult to believe because
that's probably the only country in the world that doesn't have COVID.
Yeah, because almost all the nations of the world have announced that they have coronavirus. So it's almost impossible to believe.
Because they had an initial 500 cases when the whole outbreak, but they said they've been cured and everything, so there's no cases.
And they've been cured through prayer.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's
okay, but that's a religious leader already there in the Roman Catholic Church telling his own church members to protect themselves. And I think that is the way to go.
Yeah, true that. Okay, we're going to go over to our COVID-19 updates from across Africa today.
TOS TV Network mobile app is now available. You can now catch up on our breaking news, stream our programs live, watch out for the latest update on sports and politics as they unfold. You can also get notifications for our upcoming programs and events. All these on our TOS TV Network mobile app, available on Apple Store and Google Play Store. TOS TV News from Africa by Africans.
Being a journalist means in-depth analysis that unravels hidden truths, that question the status quo and fact-checks government.
These criminal elements hiding under the cloak of surveillance contractors are the APC elements.
Do you have facts to prove that? Being a journalist means waking up every day with a burning desire for peace, equity, and justice for all citizens.
We're being told that the choice you have is to take the lesser of two evils.
It means patriotism via the prism of objectivity and accountability. It means giving my platform to the masses to discuss issues that matter to them.
Some of them, if they bring budget, and the budget they look. Some they sleep. They're going to ask how much you are on. I have it.
Thereby shaping government policies and laws. My name is Osasu Igbenegbu, and I am the People's Journalist.
Alright, thanks for staying with us. It's still the conversation on TOS TV, reaching you live from Abuja Studios, Nigeria, West Africa. It's now time for us to take a look at the headlines across some newspapers this morning. I'll begin with the news. On top of the News Direct logo, you can find Osibanjo Abiodun Sanwo-Olu revalidate APC membership. Osibanjo Abiodun Sanwo-Olu revalidate APC membership. And then besides that, you see Sanwo-Olu welcomes federal government's move to domesticate community policing. You can find that on page 3 of the News Direct newspaper. And next to that story, you have Yahoo Boys kick against incessant arrest, stage protest in Osun. Yeah, such a very funny headline. Anyway, Yahoo boys kick against incessant arrest, stage protest in Osho. Now the gaping headline on News Direct newspaper this morning says NNPC to partner stakeholders for $10 per barrel oil production cost. NNPC to partner stakeholders for $10 per barrel oil production cost. Just one rider under that. It says as Silver launches upstream cost optimization. You can find the story on page 3 of the News Direct. And directly under that, you see Amici advocates long jail term for corrupt public officials. Amici advocates long jail term for corrupt public officials. And under that, you see police promote 141,391 officers, men in 2 years. And under that story, you also have Senate receives names of ex-service chiefs for confirmation as non-career ambassadors. Now, still more headlines on the front page of News Direct. APC National Chairman, Nigeria should be fair to CPC, Nasarawa says Engineer Sule. And NGA announces 2021 industry multi-logs too. And the final story on News Direct just under is Buhari flags off $1.96 billion Kano Maradi Rail project. Story is on page 13 of the News Direct newspaper this morning.
Moving over to the Daily Sun this morning, I'm going to start from the right-hand side of the Daily Sun. Federal government gives notice for higher petrol price. Crude price hit $60 per barrel. And then to the very gaping headline on that one, religious ethnic war imminent, Senate warns. The first rider under that also raises the alarm on kidnapping. Then bandits kill 23, injure 3 in 5 local governments area in Kaduna State. And then under that, we have COVID to buy vaccines through federal government. BUA alleges politics with vaccine purchase. That's I'm talking about the coronavirus vaccine. Service chiefs agitation as Southeast inclusion gathers momentum. Yoruba elders back Ohaneze Indigbo. On the right-hand side of the picture of the day, Northern governors fault open grazing. Say practice no longer sustainable, and then charge political leaders to fish out sanction criminal elements. Body of Nigerian pastor who died in controversial circumstance in China returns today. Buhari flags off $1.96 billion Nigeria-Niger Republic Rail project. And then the last headline on the Daily Sun this morning says, Lekki Tollgate, youth move to counter planned #Occupy Lagos protest. Under that, APC accuses former spokesman of anarchy over support for protest. That is on the Daily Sun this morning.
Okay, we now move over to Daily Independent. The gaping headline says insecurity may lead to ethno-religious war. That is coming from the Nigerian Senate. It has 3 riders under that story. It says headers, farmers clashes may cause food insecurity. Farmers clashes may cause food insecurity. They went further to ask Buhari to rejig nation security architecture. Emergence of inter-ethnic conflicts worrisome, says Ahmed Lawan. Now on top of the Daily Independent logo, you have open grazing no longer sustainable, says Northern governors. And next to that story, you have Nigeria to receive 16 million free doses of COVID-19 vaccines, says UK government. COVID to buy $100 million vaccines for Nigeria, clarifies Buhari's comment. All right, still on Daily Independent, we have presidency rejects Fani Kayode's planned move to APC. He will be a bad product for party, says PGF Director General. Met APC leaders to save Nigeria, says Fani Kayode. Now on page 5 of Daily Independent, there's this story that says bandits killed 23 persons in Kaduna. Just under that, in page 29, you find federal government advances 360 billion naira budget support to states. Also on Daily Independent, you find under the picture of the day, insurance losses over 6 trillion naira to non-enforcement of compulsory covers. Now, just beside the picture of the day, you have WTO to ratify Okonjo-Iweala's appointment as Director General on February the 15th. Finally, on that same page, you find Biden asks American diplomats to push for homosexual rights in host countries. That is it on Daily Independent newspaper. You can do well to get a copy to stay informed and, of course, educated on all of these issues.
Okay, we move over to the Vanguard newspaper this morning. I'm going to start from the top because I have to start from the top. So, affect for Vanguard, private institutions, not money-making ventures. Then on the issue of insecurity, Northern governors Obaseki, Ohaneze move against open grazing. And then beside that, BUA, COVID clash over COVID-19 vaccine. Under that one, farmer headers clash. Anyone who bears arms unlawfully must be arrested. That is coming from the presidency. Now, Lagos loses 4 trillion naira to traffic congestion annually. That is interesting. I'm wondering what can or will be done in respect to that. Now, moving over to the very obvious headline on the Vanguard this morning. Labour CSO kick as federal government plans fresh fuel price hike. 2 riders under that. The first one says, be ready to bear pains of high petrol cost. Federal government tells Nigerians. And the Nigerians can't take another hike. That's coming from the Labour, Ministry of Labour or something like that. And then on the business, I think that the business magazine is inside the Vanguard newspaper. It's talking about reversing the downward trend in foreign investment inflow. That's coming from Gordon Emefiele, the central bank governor, and the representative of the International Monetary Fund. That's the MD of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva. Under that, bandits kill 23 in 5 local government areas in Kaduna State. As locals repel attack in Chikum local government area, kill bandits. Just beside that one, destitutes lay siege to Governor Baduri's residence, decry poverty, violates COVID-19 protocol. That's on page 14 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
Our final pick on the newspaper headlines is The Nation. And just under the photo of the day, you would find this headline that says, NDLEA seizes 32 billion naira cocaine at Lagos Port. NDLEA seizes 32 billion naira cocaine at Lagos Port. And the given headline says, North's governors declare open grazing outdated, with just one rider saying herdsmen to be educated on ranching, and the second rider says Senate, Heather's farmers conflict dangerous. Now, on top of The Nation newspaper, you find on page 2, rival groups threaten protest at Lekki toll gate. Besides that, you see Boa, Kakovid clash over plan to buy $345 million vaccine. And the very last story on top of the Nation logo, you find Osibanjo registers for APC in Ogun State. Ex-Super Eagle Yisa Sofuluwe is dead. That's where we draw the curtain right there for the newspaper headlines this morning.
You do know that if you want to, get more stories, get more insight into all of these stories, quite interesting stories actually, get yourself a copy of any or all of the dailies we, read out to you this morning. Right about now, we're going to go on a quick break, and when we get back, it'll be time to get into the meat of the conversation. That is the big story.
North to South Africa, East to West Africa, TOS TV Network is your digital-first Pan-African news network, bringing you news from across the continent. Visit our website www.tostvnetwork.com and follow us on social media at TOS TV Network on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Watch us on television, channel 138 on TSTV Africa.
STV Network mobile app is now available. You can now catch up on our breaking news, stream our programs live, Watch out for the latest update on sport and politics as they unfold. You can also get notifications for our upcoming programs and events. All these on our TOS TV Network mobile app, available on Apple Store and Google Play Store. TOS TV News from Africa by Africans.
Being a journalist means in-depth analysis that unravels hidden truths, that question the status quo and fact-checks government.
These criminal elements hiding under the cloak of surveillance contractors are the APC elements.
Do you have
Let me
facts to
put it
prove
that
that?
way.
Being a journalist means waking up every day with a burning desire for peace, equity, and justice for all citizens.
We're being told that the choice you have is to take the lesser of two evils.
It means patriotism via the prism of objectivity and accountability. It means giving my platform to the masses to discuss issues that matter to them.
Some of them, if they bring budget, the budget they look. Some they sleep. They're gonna ask how much we are on. I have it.
Thereby shaping government policies and laws. My name is Osasu Igbenegbu.
Thanks for staying with us here on The Conversation, right here on TOS TV Network, your digital first Pan-African news network. Welcome back. It's time for the big story. And then we will be looking at the farmers-herders clash, the way forward for the escalating tension. It's been on the front burner, one issue that has just been there, you know. Now, since the Fourth Nigerian Republic's founding in 1999, farmer-herder violence has killed more than 19,000 people and displaced hundreds of thousands more. Violence between Nigerian herders and farmers has escalated, killing more than 1,300 people since January 2018. The conflict has evolved from spontaneous reactions to provocations and now to deadlier planned attacks, particularly in Benue, Plateau, Adamawa, Nasarawa, and Taraba states. Now, insecurity and violence have led many populations to create self-defense forces and ethnic and tribal militias, which have engaged in further violence. The majority of farmer-herder clashes have occurred between Muslim Fulani herdsmen and Christian farmers, exacerbating ethno-religious hostilities. Nigerians believe that the government has only taken piecemeal action in putting an end to this crisis. Recently, there's been reports in the media regarding how the crisis is already sparking ethnic violence in several parts of the country, which threatens the peace and security of the nation and makes this very conversation really an important point of discourse. Now joining us to discuss on the conversation this morning is Honorable Ebenezer Oyetakin. He's Executive Secretary of Anti-Corruption Network and author A Giant in Search of Her Destiny. Honorable, you're welcome to the show this morning.
Good morning, viewers.
Now let's take your reactions quickly as to the violence escalating from the herders-farmers clash. What are your reactions towards this development?
It is most unfortunate that Nigeria is contending with such degrees of security challenges resulting from the herders-farmers clashes. The clash between the herders and the farmers is as old as the nation. It's as old as the nation, and pre-independent Nigeria had what we call the herders corridors, created whereby it is defined for them the path of their navigations to find their what you call pasturage. Unfortunately, we are a victim of unguided population as a nation. Unguided population, unplanned growth, and all this created these complications we are experiencing today. I had a discourse with a military general who availed me one of their experiences with the herders. It happened that late General Idiabo had wanted to do what they call a dry period farming. And he actually proceeded to get some loan and farmed on the headers corridor. After he had laid out the farmland and the crops planted and the growth, the herdsman, you know, himself is considered a Fulani from Kwara State.
Okay.
The herdsmen mobilized their cattle into this thing and they ate up the crops. He wanted to mobilize military against them. Then one of the military general, Tun, now said, "You can't do that. Have you found out why this happened?" Then they found out and discovered that he planted on the corridor. Many of the corridor has been built upon by Nigerians. Okay. Many of the corridors could no longer be found any longer because of developmental growth and things of that nature. And Nigeria government incessantly did not address all these issues. So that being that is one of the reasons why we are having this conflict, because the farmers must do their farms and the herders must herd their herds.
Yes.
Unfortunately, there is no longer those demarcations that our founding father envisaged when they created such corridor for them. Now, moving away from that, you now have herders that are more deadlier than the original herders-farmers clash. Now, the entire situation is beginning to take a form of organized crime. A form of organized crime. The herders we used to know, they only go with their stick to shepherd their flocks. The herders we are having these days, they are bazooka herders with AK-47 and things of that nature. So it makes one to think that the federal government should effectively connect with the state government and the local government and connect with traditional rulers if we must resolve these situations to separate the original herders' conflicts from the criminals and organized crime in the corridors of powers and the politics propelled herders, farmers makes believe.
Now, Honorable, there's this comment from the governor of Benue State, now that the presidency, the reactions that have followed all of this discourse is that the presidency is not doing so much to tackle the issue. And very recently, the governor of Benue State was really vocal about that, and he said categorically that the federal government is not doing enough to tackle and nip this issue in the bud. What's your own reaction regarding that? My
reaction is that the only time we hear about the governor of Benue State actually coming to talk on those on issues of national development is when he wants to play politics with the issues of the herders. He forgot that there are evidences available to even himself and the federal government that in Benue State there are preponderance mixed beliefs attacks on one another by their different community, and most of these attacks are blamed on herders. Herders has become a name created to commit crimes and to take vengeance and to play politics with currently. For example, in Ondo State, where I come from, an Akoko man was kidnapped. An Akoko well-to-do man was kidnapped. And the people that kidnapped him dressed like Fulani. Went through drones, mobilization of drones and security forces. They were apprehended. They were 5 in numbers. It happened to be that 2 of them were Akoko citizens. 2 of them were Igbo, and 1 of them was an Edo.
Oh, wow.
No single Fulani among them, but they dressed like Fulani, they customized themselves as Fulani. We also had a case in Imo State recently where a traditional ruler was arrested. In the night, he operated in the name of Fulani until they had a conflict with what you call them, NDLEA staff. They injured those NDLEA staff, collected their guns and the rest of it, and the security forces mobilized. They later apprehended them, a traditional ruler, a pastor was among them, and others.
But Honorable, can you verify?
Like when did all of this
can you
happen?
verify
Yeah.
the story that you're just telling us right now?
This story, it was televised. It was not a story I am telling you.
Okay.
It was televised. It was televised. They were arrested by policemen.
Okay.
Then the former president of Ohaneze in the Igbo also came out on televisions to say that in 2019, preparatory to election, when there was so much killing in the name of Fulani herdsmen, he said, our people are killing our people in the name of Fulani herdsmen.
Okay, so what you're saying now is that
there is a full, you see, the Fulanizations of crimes by organized crime in politics is doing more havoc to the nation than the former herders farmers conflict that we had.
Okay, now, Honorable,
yes.
Let's move away from the challenges and look at the solution. In the program that we monitored here on TUS, we heard the spokesperson of the president, Femi Adesina, said that one of the ways the presidency is tackling this issue of herders farmers is that President Muhammadu Buhari has stated over and over again that anyone who is found with weapons by the security agents should be arrested. Now, is that to say that that is all that the presidency can do as regarding this issue?
And then in regards to that, even the northern governors have said that open grazing is no longer sustainable and is no longer advisable. So I think they're trying to look for a way to find a balance, you know.
Yes, I want to say there is no quick fix to this problem. It must be a solution that is all-encompassing. It requires absolute boldness and courage on the part of the government to address this issue, and such solution should be peoples-based solution.
Okay. An example, when you say peoples-based solution, like an example.
Yes, an example of peoples-based solution is, first of all, our security forces must befriend the communities, the people, so that they can have timely intelligence, accurate intelligence, vehemently volunteered intelligence to our security forces, because the security forces, they are not ghosts. They are not omnipresent. So when you have adequate information, timely information to the security forces, it will enable them to track these criminals and to separate the grains from the chaff and things of that nature. Having said that, we have traditional rulers at various levels. You have first-class traditional ruler, second-class traditional ruler, what do you call it, third-class traditional ruler, and in the Yoruba, I think the Baale constitutes the fourth class. Each and every one of us, we know who is in our community. We know the criminals in our community. We know the drug barons in our communities. We know the armed robbers in our communities. The people-based security solutions approach should see our security forces through a deliberate policy of the government, befriending the people, generating confidence between the people and the security forces, so that somebody do not give security forces information and the person is assassinated tomorrow and that kind of a thing. So this confidence needed to be built, and that is why I said the federal government must befriend the state, befriend the local government, then befriend the traditional ruler, and let all hands be on deck to address this complex security challenge.
Now,
then the issues of arresting those with guns.
Yes.
We are not a nation that democratized the use of gun.
Yes.
Therefore, whomsoever illegally holds guns should be apprehended and asked, how did you get it? Unfortunately for Nigeria, gross abuse of democracy in these last 20 years of our democratic practices have led to proliferations of guns, democratizations of guns among political thugs. Then the situation is more complex than we are trying to see it. There is a profiling, a racial profiling in the killings. But actually what we have in place is that many people in your House of Reps, almost half of them have thugs, political thugs. Many people in your Senate.
Do you have a statement to verify that?
No. We are all, just 3 days ago, a local government chairman, acting local government chairman, you know, they no longer allow them to go through election.
Okay.
The governors will just dissolve the local government and appoint their thugs, head of their thugs, to be a local government chairman. So a local government chairman was arrested 3 days ago on the cases of banditry. We should not trivialize these things. I am not a diplomatic person.
Okay.
I speak things the way they are.
Okay, now, Honorable, from what you said earlier on, it seems that one of the things that we can do to solve this issue is a concerted effort. You talked about the federal government down to the state government working together. Now, if that is going to happen, is it not the responsibility of the presidency to champion that leadership?
We are in a democracy. You have the presidency, you have the governorate, you have the local government area councils. They all have their separate definitions. But what I am saying is that there must be a coordinate effort to tackle our security challenges in favor of our national sovereignty.
Okay.
Because what is being threatened here is our national sovereignty.
And
it's our collective existence.
What would now be the role of the citizens, of the individuals in all of this? Because, you know, we cannot leave the citizen because we're at the back end of all of this. So what is now the role of the citizens in all of this?
Within the citizens framework, we have public opinion holders.
Okay.
We have the traditional rulers that I have talked about. We even have pastors and imams.
Okay.
These are the these are the collective of what makes citizens. Then the role of the citizens is let us know our neighbors, your next door neighbors, and that kind of a thing. But just like my brother said, the federal government must initiate a policy in that direction. Let us know our neighbor, identify our neighbor. Many countries, both in Africa and Europe, that's what they do. That's why in Europe, you are in your house and the rest of it, the police will just arrive because somebody said, I don't know how this fellow that packed into this place is behaving. He walked the street and that kind of a thing. So we must have that kind of a neighborhood vigilance.
Okay, Honorable, we'll come back to you to take your closing thoughts on the issue because of time. But the Benue State Governor's video is ready. Can we just quickly listen to what the Benue State Governor had to say concerning the issue?
In the unity of this country, we believe in leadership, that every leader comes by God. But we have the responsibility to advise you when things are going wrong. It is not everything that I know as governor, but I depend on lieutenants. So you must depend on us. The whole country, those
All right, that's Mr. Samuel Otong, the Executive Governor of Benue State, giving his own opinion as regards the brewing tension from the Herders Farmers clashes. And we've been speaking with Honorable Ebenezer Oyetakin. He's the Executive Secretary of Anti-Corruption Network and the foremost author right there. Now, Honorable, before we wrap up, because of our time, what are your closing thoughts as regards this issue? You know, how do we, from your position as the thought leader, how do we get this issue, you know, sorted out once and for all?
Well, the issues can be gotten sorted out and for all, once and for all, if all our politicians will behave themselves. For example, let me quickly run it this way.
Okay.
A fellow in River State called Don Warren killed 17 people coming out of church, and the security forces wanted to move against him and the rest of it. Before then, the governor of the state said, move out of the country to any country of your choice. We will take care of you.
Is this in the news?
It was. So now he did not move. The security forces went there. The army engaged him and they killed him. There is a thing I'm drawing out. He was a political thug. Now something is happening in your state and that kind of a thing. And when you trace the genesis of the people that are involved, these are groomed people who grew through our political tawdry and things of that nature. Then you have somebody killed in Benue State. The military wanted him to surrender. The governor midwife, this same governor midwife, he's surrendering and the rest of it, but the military apprehended him and killed him because they have done money surrendering in the past and the man is returning to this thing. So what we are saying is that our gross abuses of democracy has created and made complex these security challenges we are facing. And if we must resolve it, we must be bold, audacious, and patriotic in the way we go about it. For example, the issues of creating ranches, whether you call it Ruga, whether you call it ranch, and that kind of a thing. If it will lead to solutions, let the federal government get in touch with the state government and let them see how they can adequately package these things and get it done so that there will no longer be herdsmen roaming the streets and conflicting with the farmers, so that to the extent that organized crime now bought into it and begin to make it look as incompatible. So that is the way to go. We must be courageous, all hands must be on the deck, and truthfully, we must check and punish those we caught. If you caught people with arms that are not supposed to hold arms, and you investigated them, and you found them culpable, punish them transparently. Don't hold people account in the secret. Punish them transparently that it may serve deterrence to others who may want to do it.
Thank you very much, thank you very much, Honorable Ebenezer Oyetakin. Well, that's how much we can take on the big story segment of the conversation. We've been looking at the farmers' herders clash and how to douse the escalating tension and charting the way forward for national peace and security. And we'll be speaking to Honorable Ebenezer Oyetakin, Executive Secretary of the Anti-Corruption Network. Thank you very much, Honorable, for being a part of the show.
My pleasure, thank you.
We look forward to having more insightful engagement with you from here forward.
Thank you very much.
All right, you can be a part of the conversation. Just go straight to our Twitter page at TOS TV Network and let us know what your thoughts are regarding the issue that we've treated today on the big story here on the conversation. The conversation comes back right after this break. Do stay tuned.
The Network mobile app is now available. You can now catch up on our breaking news, stream our programs live. Watch out for the latest update on sport and politics as they unfold. You can also get notifications for our upcoming programs and events. All these on our TOS TV Network mobile app, available on Apple Store and Google Play Store. TOS TV News from Africa by Africans.
Being a journalist means in-depth analysis that unravels hidden truths, that question the status quo and fact-checks government.
These criminal elements hiding under the cloak of surveillance contractors are the APC elements.
Do you have facts to prove that? Being a journalist means waking up every day with a burning desire
for peace, equity, and justice for all citizens.
We're being told that the choice you have is to take the lesser of two evils.
It means patriotism via the prism of objectivity and accountability. It means giving my platform to the masses to discuss issues that matter to them.
Some of them, if they bring budget, and the budget they look. Some they sleep. They're gonna ask how much you are on. I have it.
Thereby shaping government policies and laws. My name is Osasu Igbeneja, and I am the People's Journalist.
TOS TV Network mobile app is now available. You can now catch up on our breaking news, stream our programs live, watch out for the latest update on sport and politics as they unfold. You can also get notifications for our upcoming programs and events. All these on our TOS TV Network mobile app, available on Apple Store and Google Play Store. TOS TV News from Africa by Africans.
Being a journalist means in-depth analysis.
Welcome back. It's still the conversation on TOS TV Network, and back now I'm going to take you through, social media trend, what has been trending on social media. Now, for a few days now, there's been a lot of talk about what it is to be Nigerian and what it is to live in Nigeria. Nigerians are very, very outspoken and opinionated about, the situations here in the country. I'm going to take a few tweets to that regard. Some of them are quite hilarious. So this first one by @Beacon says, in Nigeria, make sure you have contacts, LOL, not just contacts that when you call, they will pick respectfully. And then this one @The Only Doing says, electricity has been founded since 1882, and our government can't give us just 20 hours supply every day, but they can gift themselves 2021 models of whatever SUV they wish. I hate it here. And then this last guy @His Face says, all die, no be die. Nigeria isn't worth dying for. Now that's what Nigerians are saying about Nigeria. In 1 minute, which one can you relate to, or which one do you think? I kind of buy into it a little bit.
I can relate with the one that has to do with contacts.
Oh yeah, every Nigerian can relate.
I can relate.
Every Nigerian can relate
to that one because,
yeah,
of course, like the way it is in the country, you need to know someone that knows someone, so you can get things done.
As I said, not just knowing someone that when you contact, they'll pick up.
They'll always pick your call, yeah, exactly.
They'll pick up, yes. Okay, that's the much we can take on the conversation this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. And as we always say, do not forget to be a part of the conversation, a part of the community actually. Follow us across all social media platforms, TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and also on our website, www.tostvnetwork.com. Also, subscribe on YouTube, to get more programmings, more TOS TV Network programmings. I am Adesu Alsi.
And I am also Zeh Iseswe. To have a great time.